So if you saw in some of the clips, they had like zoomed and then the wide angle ones. This is kind of like the previous TrackFlex, but with better lights. This is a Wi-Fi version only at this time. I did ask them about PoE since they did come out with a PoE on the 180 floodlight. I would love to see a PoE in this model as well because Wi-Fi just sometimes isn't a great idea for cameras. But where this really excels is exactly from this picture right here. It's perfect where you have, and I know a lot of homes have this, where they have an existing floodlight right on the corner. And that way you get that almost 360. I guess it would be like 270 degrees based on the corner. I know my math is kind of screwed up at times, but yeah, this will allow you to cover all that area where that 180 would not. Now, if you have just like a flat wall, I probably would want to stick with the 180 because then you cover everything without having to move or PTZ around or whatever or tracking. But then again, this does have the two lenses that has that like 6x hybrid zoom that allows it to track people and things. It does have like these three motion sensors you'll see towards the end of the video that helps it move. If like for some reason it's over here and there's motion, it should move itself over there. Now this is mains AC only. That would come into play where you had an existing floodlight and you just want to add a camera. And that is using up to Wi-Fi 6. Now, of course, it's backward compatible. You get 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. One issue I did have was I couldn't force it to 2.4 gigahertz. So sometimes it was trying to hang on to a 5 gigahertz. I did ask them for that as a feature, but I haven't seen that in the firmware just yet. Now, for the floodlights, you do get 3000 lumens. Very important there. You can go cool white or warm white, depending on your taste. You also get two-way audio with this thing if you want to talk to people via the app. Now, the cool part about Reolink and the not so cool part, but it does support OnVIF and it does support RTSP. So you can use it with Frigate, you can use it with Blue Iris, various other software NVRs, but I do recommend if you're going to use it with the NVR, just because of some of the oddities of the Reolink codecs, I highly recommend to use it with the Reolink NVR itself. This is Wi-Fi, but it will pair up with the Reolink hardwired NVR. Pops right in. I don't know if you can see that towards the beginning of the video, I had my Reolink one on the TV behind me. So rolling into the apps, it does support, which is awesome, Home Assistant right out the box. It's local. You don't want to put this camera in the cloud, don't. Just pair it up to your Wi-Fi. You can block it from the internet. You don't even have to use the app. You could use it straight with Home Assistant itself or even local NVRs. Just keep in mind, again, the codecs. I wish Reolink would really work on that stuff. But in Home Assistant, you do get like you can turn the floodlights on and off. You can do the PTZ controls, the siren, the zoom, and of course, you do get the video selections right into Home Assistant. You can see this is the wide angle lens there, and then this is the other is the zoomed in lens that moves around. Of course, they both move around, but you can see it does give you all the sensors right into Home Assistant for like motion detected. I guess there's probably a car going by. I probably missed it, but you have motion, person, vehicle, and you do get animal. Now, it does work with Blue Iris. I did put it in there. I pulled up just the main channel, as that's that wide angle lens. And the actual PTZ controls work as well. Straight in Blue Iris, you can see right here. And then I don't know if the zoom, I guess because the zoom would be on the other lens. So I don't think the zoom is going to work if I press zoom, because that's going to do the other channel. Kind of think of it because it's two cameras in one. You can see I recorded some stuff here with Blue Iris. Didn't have any issues. Looks like it was jumping around. It will do the auto track. I'm not too much on the auto track because sometimes it will track cars when I don't want it to track cars, which you can see there was nobody here, but yet it jumped over to see a car. Not something I want. I just have it tracking people because I do get a lot of traffic. So enough with the Blue Iris stuff. let's jump on over to see about putting it into Frigate. So I haven't added it to Frigate before, so I figured let's just go ahead and do it live. Um, Go to settings, management, add new camera. We'll call it TrackFlex 10. Put your IP address, your username and password. So we do get the TrackFlex right there. I don't know if it enables PTZ controls, but I probably would need to probably go and enable that. Enable recording, snapshots. But I just want to see if this actually does work inside of Frigate, which it absolutely does. So kudos to them. And it does a decent job, you would think. So in the actual Reolink app, I've kind of zoomed it in. That way we can see some things here. Um, it's pretty similar to what you see in like some of the other applications. So you do get a lot of the different controls. You can turn on the lights and everything. That's the audio alarm, Travis. Um, the flashlight would be the light. So we do get the actual lights themselves to turn on and flood the area. You do get all the different PTZ controls. You can do the audio. You can do a time lapse. Now, the cool thing is we can jump in and get the zoomed in one if y'all want to see what the zoomed in kind of look like. And I love that my neighbor still has his truck and or van always parked sideways for me and see what we can zoom in on. It's kind of that hybrid zoom, so do keep that in mind, but it does give you the ability to look at some of the text. I am going to roll in the mouse here, so you can see some of, some of the text, but do keep in mind, I wanted to point out one thing on this particular camera is, yeah, it just zoomed over, I guess, because I was messing around with, I guess it tracked a car. But if you're trying to get this to read license plates at night, just don't. Because look, here's a license plate right here. It's trying to pull in all the different light and everything, and there's just so much light and IR reflecting off of a license plate. You're really not going to read license plates at night with this camera. With that said, is I want to bring up one of the cool things, this new AI search thing that actually Reolink has built into their cameras. I don't have their NVR yet for that, so I have to use the SD card because it's actually built into the camera itself, which it is local, by the way. So we'll pull up the camera here, and I'm going to do just like people and pop in just so you can see some of the playback things of, jumping it to people. There's someone riding a bicycle, and you can see the tracking. It jumps around and tracks that person. So we should be able to do the same thing with the actual zoomed in lens because it records both streams. So we'll do just a person and we'll pop in there and see if we can get it to track that same person on the actual bicycle. You see it zoomed into my driveway. That really irritates some people. But yeah, if you want to donate to the cause of redoing the concrete, by all means, let me know. So it doesn't look like it has that person on the bicycle, actually. So let's see if we can find one from a previous day. Yeah, you can see there it is tracking that person, but it actually lost them, maybe due to the distance. Oh, and that's also a good indication of what we were just talking about is the license plate. Let me pop back into this frame. It did zoom in. You can see, kind of make out the license plate across the street. There's that same person. You can see it trying to do the tracking there. And we were trying to see this other one. Yeah, you were just seeing some kids that were running. It tried to kind of track them, but then it lost them in the darkness. So again, I don't know why it's tracking vehicles sometimes. I don't have it set to track vehicles. Smart detection. Yeah. You can see I just have it set on the auto tracking. I just have it set to track the person, not vehicles or animals. And then it pan tilts first. Maybe I could do digital tracking first but I always thought maybe I would want it to get to them first, but maybe it's not quick enough with the motors. Now, the cool part I really love about this thing is where you can actually set the light to only turn on when it sees a person. So if you go down here, it's in surveillance and light alert. And you can do this in the app as well, the spotlight and detection. And you can say, hey, I just want to detect and turn on the floodlights when I see a person. And then, of course, you need to hit save at the bottom. And then you can set the duration, the brightness, etc. Now, let me just talk about one of the cool features that is locally on the AI thing I want to talk about, which I mentioned. If you hit this here, you can see this in the app as well. You can do this AI video search thing. And so say I wanted to, in the example they say is person with red clothing. So we'll do, how about person with red, let's just do theirs with red clothing. And let's see what happens. So it's going to search. This is on just on the SD card. Let's see if it finds red clothing on people. No, because OG is putting stuff in the trash. We have black clothing on, so I don't know what it's seeing about red clothing, but it did find people. Let's see. Let's check this one out. They get out of their car. They put some in the trash. There's a kid hanging on the side of the truck. Well, it was red clothing. Puts the trash out. Good boy. Tracking him. But he has black clothing on. So does a decent job of tracking him. Red truck. That seems simple enough. You can sort of see the issue. AI isn't always the best. I don't see a red truck. See a white truck. I guess we could download that clip. You know, me waves at the camera. Guy dropping off some scraps for the chickens, usually. So I guess that leads us to, would you buy one? I would if I had a floodlight on the corner that I need to cover that, that 270-degree or more, corner and be able to look all the way around and everything. I would really do that because the 180 is not going to fit that situation properly. So, but I would like to see them do a PoE version. Now, we'll give Reolink the pass. They do have the Home Assistant integration. They've got RTSP. You can do things locally. You can do things locally in the PC and Mac apps. You can block it from the internet, or you can just put it in the cloud. Now, it's not totally in the cloud. It just has cloud connection, so you can pull it up remotely in the app very easily. It kind of fits everybody the way Reolink does things, whether you want to do the privacy side of things or you really just want to do a plug and play and throw it on the side of the house. It just fits everybody. But I really wish they would work with the Frigate guys and others to get the codecs tweaked down. I know they've talked about some issues in things that'll help out. We definitely saw that in the BI side, but maybe the Frigate guys are working around that somehow. So if they are, kudos to them. But I would love to see a Reolink reach out to them and still work and get things really smooth in, because it would just make things easier and have more sales for Reolink themselves, of being able to sell more cameras to more users, and people like me would recommend them. Now, off my soapbox there. So if you do want to check out one of these down below, you'll find all the links down below. There's our affiliate links, but there's no additional cost to you. It does help support the channel. So yeah, it's a pretty decent camera, but on my side of the house for the floodlight, I'm gonna go with that 180. That is PoE, because I don't want to use Wi-Fi, and then it actually is on a wall where I only have 180, so it can just see everything all at once. But I really love the floodlight side of things, of being able to only turn on the flood when there's person coming by. I can care less to turn on the floodlight when there's a cat walking across the driveway. So that'll about do it for this one. I do appreciate Reolink for sending this out for review, and of course, kept it all unbiased as is. And I do appreciate all the Patreon and YouTube members. Definitely couldn't do it without you. Press all them buttons, and y'all take care.